Extreme weather continues to wreak havoc in Pakistan. This year's monsoon has sparked a series of flash floods that began in June, claiming over 200 lives so far. Thousands of homes are damaged, some swept away, bridges too. Is this the new normal for one of the world's most populous nations and poorest? Its Human Development Index, or socioeconomic status, is one of the lowest in Asia. Also, Pakistan is an underdeveloped country. It emits very little green gases per capita, but bears the brunt of natural disasters driven by human-induced climate change. We'll get to one of the main reasons in a moment. First, Pakistan is in political deadlock. The economy is flatlining, and then there's the flood disaster from a year ago, which hasn't gone away. Some parts are still underwater. A huge part of the population remains homeless. Rebuilding the country will take a massive amount of funds that aren't there. The economy is being bailed out. A democratically elected government is needed to pull the nation out of this swamp. But Parliament has been dissolved, and financial pledges from abroad have amounted to a trickle. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres visited the disaster zone in September of last year. This is what he had to say.
I've seen many humanitarian disasters in the world, but I have never seen climate carnage on this scale. I have simply no words to describe what I've seen today. A flooded area that is 3 times the total area of my own country.
DW News Asia reporter Binish Javed is from Pakistan and has been closely watching this, of course. A year on, can we now estimate the magnitude of what's gone on here?
Ben, 33 million people were impacted. That's 1 in 7 of the population. 8 million people were displaced. These statistics are from last year, but behind these statistics are lives. And the floods of 2022 still continues to destroy many of these lives. A recent study by Islamic Relief says that in flood-affected areas, more than 40% children have stunted growth because they do not have access to food and healthcare. And young mothers and women are becoming more fragile and weak. Millions of people have lost their livelihoods. But that's at the individual level. If we look at the macro level, floods of 2022 still continue to contribute to one of the worst economic crises Pakistan has seen in years. Nearly 4.4 million acres of agricultural land was completely destroyed and damaged. That led to food crisis. And then there was also roads and important infrastructure that was damaged. And all of that contributed to the economic crisis. And at one point, inflation crossed 35%. That made lives of millions of people miserable, even harder. But these are just economic statistics. It's really difficult to calculate the psychological impact the devastation had on people. Imagine women who were living their lives at their homes under Islamic traditions and culture. All of a sudden, they were living on roads in very unsafe camps. Thousands of schools and healthcare centers were damaged and destroyed, which means children had lost their support network. So it's very difficult to calculate the impact on mental health of so many people.
But the government has put a figure on it and has asked for help from abroad. It's just that there's only been a trickle that's come through.
Ben, it's really difficult to put or exactly say what amount Pakistan has actually received. There are UN agencies and other aid agencies working in Pakistan on different recovery and rehabilitation projects. But Pakistan says that it has received very little to what it actually needs. The country says that it has incurred losses of $30 billion, and it is now asking for around $16 billion to rebuild Pakistan. Pakistan, which is an expensive project because for usual construction, if you require $1 for constructing a climate-resilient infrastructure, you require $4, and Pakistan doesn't have that kind of money. And that is one reason that Pakistan pushed for setting up of the Loss and Damage Fund in COP27 last year. And as the world is heading towards COP28, Pakistan is asking that it finally, the money from the rich countries should be dispersed to the developing countries. And that's what's also been mentioned by the report of Islamic Relief. And in the report, they says there is no good reason why the Loss and Damage Fund should not be up and running within 12 months of COP28, making its first disbursements in 2024. There is also no good reason for governments not to fulfill their commitments to $100 billion in climate finance each year, which is only a seventh of the amount fossil fuel companies received in government subsidies last year. So basically, Ben, poor countries, developing countries are saying that rich countries should take this matter seriously and should start dispersing climate financing to them.
But while Pakistan waits for a reaction, waits for that money, what happens when another flood hits?
So several studies have shown that Pakistan will continue to be hit by extreme weather events. Pakistan is among top 10 countries that are most affected by climate change. And Pakistan is also home to 7,000 glaciers that are melting at terrifying rates, affecting communities. So every day, people of Pakistan are being affected. And despite the fact that Pakistan emits less than 1% of global emissions, the people of Pakistan are bearing the brunt. And that's why it's urgently asking for climate financing by rich countries. Otherwise, Pakistan believes that the cycle of suffering will continue.
But will those countries pledge even more money when they look at Pakistan and see the political mess it's in at the moment?
And that is also a bitter reality of Pakistan. Since Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was ousted through a no-confidence vote last year, Pakistan has been in a deep political turmoil. And now many people have started to believe is that the politicians, the government, and the influential military, all of them have taken decisions that were in their own interest, and they continue to fail people of Pakistan. Pakistan is heading towards election, and the only hope is that Pakistan has a democratic government that is able to take strong decisions that are in the long-term interest of the people.
Binish Javed, thank you very much.